first showing here in MWI 2024. Let's see what happens. Mirko, Trex, it's your time to shine.
MENA on match point right now, on final life. They gotta get a game here, and let me say, once again, the picks have not disappointed. Ramichi with the jungle Alice. Last time we saw the jungle Benedetta and it performed, catching Falcons MENA off guard. Do we think Zino Lilies is gonna do the same thing here?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how the Alice is gonna play out. Last time I saw an Alice, it was always paired up with an Angela. You always need some more sustain on top of the sustain that you already have. But technically, if you get a snowball in the early game, that definitely does put you in a better spot, right? So I think for them, definitely, they are going to be looking for that early game snowball. And Chip Loe fits the description really, really well to actually get the Alice into a spot where she's very, very comfortable. But the thing is, it's going to be really tough if Yui continues to use these laser beams. Shiromi already taken very low, forced to run back. And Sa can't even get a single skill landed on Yui.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Zino Lilies has some potential here.
Look at that.
In the early game, but I think their real moment to shine is once those lords start coming around, right? Once they can really capitalize on the chip, using those portals around the map and everything, getting vision in multiple spots, they can send chip to the long lane, to the off lane, and just kind of hang out, make sure things are controlled, and he pops up any minute he wants. Also, giving them vision throughout the whole map as long as he's checking those portals periodically. So it's definitely an interesting composition from the side of Zino Lilies. And also, I can already see the possible, you know, teleport with a diversion, Alice right behind you, blood flow in, get the eye. I mean, lots of possibilities. Team Falcons MENA, though, trying to take it aggressive early on, which I think is the right route.
Great maneuver from Saab, getting the diversion up top and then bursting names down. Again, this matchup, Harith versus Claude, it's very one-sided. It should be very one-sided. It should be the Harith win in the lane, but the fact that Taro was able to outplay also the Flicker, by the way. Shout out to Wolf King onto Velvet, making her take 2 turret shots, and Kao will still be able to take level 4 now as Shiromi zones Devin away. Ramichi gets the turtle for free. No retribution now, maneuvering into the enemy purple buff. Yui rotating as well, electing to be caught in the blood as well, and the blood. Oh, Ramichi able to dislocate him, but now the shortcut comes down. They're all going to be trapped in towards him in his fury. But Taro, with a blazing duet, wipes them up together with Ramichi, who's still able to survive. But Yui, again, is able to get some of these trades down with the little descents.
It looked great for Zino Lilies, but then it quickly turned around. 4 members down. Team Falcons MENA now looking sound. They're able to kind of, I mean, let's look at the replay real quick, right? Electa gets taken out. It looks like Ramichi has this, but Fevin with a beautiful Minoan's Fury. Taro shows up in the nick of time just to kind of save the day here and make sure it's not too much destruction for them. It could have easily been a 4-for-1 or 4-for-2 trade. Taro's able to kind of even the playing field, but MENA definitely wins out on that trade there. Here comes a diversion, though, already early on in the game.
Spots Pevin up, out in that bush. Taro will continue to push here on the Claude. Having a bit of a lead here on names. Able to use the BMI to get a few good shots onto the turret. And you can see this is what you do on the Alice. This is good and bad in a way. Shiromi can be poked out. Even the red tree committed with the fracture too. Electa really, really disliking the fact that Shiromi was roaming around her jungle. But yeah, back again to the point, Alice. You want the Alice to clear out a whole lot of the waves, and sometimes in your team, especially if you have someone like a Lo Yi, it'll be kind of tough because Lo Yi does need a few of those resources in the early game at least to get into the mid game. But now that it's all given to Ramichi, they're really going to have to rely on her to carry the game as we get into the mid stage.
Ramichi just locks in Clock of Destiny. We see the Corrosion Scythe coming in onto Taro. So a little bit of something to get things started. We're 4 minutes in. Second turtle going to be coming up, in the way that Team Falcons MENA now maybe have a little bit of confidence, this could be the time that they actually want to contest a turtle here. It is only a 800, 600 gold lead for the side of Zino Lilies, and having something like this Minotaur gives them some opportunity to make a play happen. Electa has showed she's got some moves on this, but wait a second, up in the mid side.
Yeah, Crash Course, Flicker forward with the final slash 2 and the Flicker 2. That's a 3-man knockup straight into Electa, picking up the retribution, but now gets caught in the yin-yang reaction. Sa able to bring them back now into the blazing duet. Velvet gets the vengeance, gets a reset, but now Ramichi with the flowing blood, and he gets the outplay. That's a double kill for Ramichi.
Ramichi is disgusting right now. It's 4-1 and 2. And you know, we talk about sometimes teams playing inside of a box. Right now, they are playing inside of the circle. You got the duality procced, right? You match that up with Ramichi getting the Blood Ode. I mean, it's just a lot. And then Shiromi at any point can bring Taro into the fight. At any point can bring KO into the fight. Team Falcons MENA gotta find a way to kind of play around this because they have the perfect answer to Electa, who wants to dive in. Ramichi risks it there, takes the chase down, and KO's happy about it. I love the reactions from everybody. A good, secured lead for the side of Zino Lilies.
For sure. I mean, those reactions, I thought the reactions would be a bit louder too, right? Because that was certainly an interesting outplayed names. Able to dash out of that one. Good diversion. Now Shiromi, this is part 2 of the rotation. Minions Fury able to catch 2, but no follow-up. She actually decides to go in, gets part of the shortcut now, and caught in the blood as they gun down Names up top. Ramichi with a dive. Names with the Zaman Force flickering out to safety now. Flowing blood, not going to be connected. Shiromi now looking for the crash course. Will be isolated. Dominator's descent from Yui to pick herself up a killing spree as Electa goes and split pushes in the mid lane. Will be able to take the structure down.
Okay, so Team Falcons MENA actually, I feel like, get the win out of that trade. It becomes a 1-for-1 plus a tower over to the side of MENA there. I love the Fevin thought about it, decides to go for the re-engage, but Names was not on board with it. And I'm just, just some of those moments right there. I think if Team Falcons MENA can get a little bit more on board together, because sometimes it feels like they're going opposite directions. One of them wants to fight, one of them wants to back off. So I think if they can get those exact decisions, we could definitely see them pull this game off. They now have a lead. They're about 300 gold ahead, and we're on to this third turtle.
Shiromi with the crash course. Not gonna crash onto Velvet just yet. Flowing blood. Trying to reveal them. Diversion does. Electa, Fevin, and Yui in the bush right now as they go in. That's a flicker forward. Minions Fury not connecting to Jedi. I'm offended. Connecting straight into the flowing blood. And now with the retribution, Ramichi, no mana left. Doesn't have enough to go for the blood. Oh, but they have already secured a neutral objective and 2 kills and another structure down below.
And that's exactly what I mean by the circle. Zino Lilies wants Team Falcons all to just come in, and they're okay with taking a Minoan's Fury to the face as long as they can get that big I'm offended off, get the duality proc, get anything to bring them as close to Ramichi as possible. The damage just starts stacking, and we haven't seen,
I'm offended, bringing her back straight into the flowing blood now, chasing under the turret. Name still able to get the shielding now. Gets knocked up, Ramichi. Caught in the fracture, takes all the punishment, gets out with the flowing blood. Names is still somehow able to survive. Some rotations now from Velvet, rotating in with the final slash again. Should be able to bring Shiromi back, but she is able to flicker out and conceal out of the way as Taro continues this solo mission down below.
I like the conceal just for good measure, and I think it could have been a good call for sure because they definitely might have chased them down. But the back and forth, both teams, Names showing some great mechanical prowess, kind of dashing through tower, able to dodge out, and even Ramichi waiting for the right moment to get that blood flow to be able to flicker away and get out of that bad position. But now Electa looking for a play on Taro.
The blazing duet, now Blood trying to catch her, but Electa will be taken out by the crash course. Shiromi was there to catch her. And now they're gonna go for the siege on the tier 2 down below. Fevin in the bush. Shiromi's trying to read it out. Will be able to do so. Spots her out in the bush, forces her back. As Kao continues this push up top as well. But now that you mention it, Trex, Zino Lilies, they are a team of circles. Literally all their skills are circles too.
Yeah,
blazing duet.
Exactly.
Flowing blood, blood ode.
The second skill from
wow.
I'm having a mind blank.
Me too. Now I'm just like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Let's bring him into the circle, baby.
They love circles. I love circles.
Their logo almost looks like a circle.
Yeah.
I mean, if you curved out the edges, the corners,
That's like that's a hexagon, right?
And since Fevin's ult, the Minoan's Fury, is a circle, could we say it's working with Zino Lilies?
Oh, I think it has been working really good for Team Falcons. The Velvet. She's hovering over right now. Shiromi's in that bush. That's a scary bush for Team Falcons MENA. If they don't know the chip was there, but Shiromi decides to rotate back, and they're just going to play with the Lord Dance. Remember, the Lord acts a bit different. Diversion up top. No one's going to take it. Fevin reads it out really well. Shiromi zoning the front now, trying to bait out some of these abilities. Will be able to do so. But just onto the Crabs. I don't know about this Lord Dance, man. It's going to be really tough. Oh, final flash into the stun now. Blazing Duet was canceled. Now Taro going to be taken down. Minions Fury knocking Kao up. And now it's Zino Lilies who lose it out. Ramichi, though, still in the midst of it all earlier. Able to get the flowing blood to disengage. And now we see the power of the Lord. That's why you don't Lord dance.
That's very true. That's exactly why you don't Lord dance. But I really want to point out Electa here, because Electa was able to maneuver, dance through that fight a little bit. And even with Ramichi, I mean, amazing positioning, getting to the backside, hitting the Blood Ode, and just kind of sitting there waiting for the Lord to come down at the same time. Doesn't have to click a lot of buttons. Electa, on the other hand, is moving, still gets the retry off in time. So very well done from the side of Team Falcons MENA. Let's take a look at some of the in-game equipment, at some of these items right now. Someone that I do see falling behind here is Yui on the Zax. Just got the Crystalline, got the Glowing Wand in, but I think needs a little bit more in terms of gold lane, though. Names definitely has a little bit of lead. We're talking about 700 gold, has got the Blood Feathers in, third item, working on the fourth. I mean, definitely going to be a huge member. We didn't get to see Names pop off last game, and even in some of the previous games, but this might finally be the time for Names to shine.
And that's interesting, considering the fact that Taro has been the one alone in these lanes just farming up a storm, right? But still, for Taro, she isn't able to replicate what Rian did on the Claude. 9 minutes, 3 items. She's still on the way to that third item now in the 11th minutes still. So this is the normal timing, by the way, to get the 3 items. That's why I was pretty shocked. I was like, whoa, 9 minutes. Is that like goal stamp, or is that, you know, did they go for a different path? But this time, she will be able to secure it. I don't know if she wants to go for Windtalker this time around, knowing that there are a few tanky members there. She might need the Malefic Roar, or at this point, she might need a defensive item, right? She might go for the Rose Gold Meteor even.
And what do we think about Ramichi here? We got Clock of Destiny, and we have Dominance Ice, we have Oracle, getting tankier, getting more sustainable, and that's only going to become more and more of a problem as this game moves forward. So I think Team Falcons MENA kind of got to find an answer to that at some point. They don't have a Shredder exactly. They don't have a Claude, right? They have this Harith who, yes, can burst and may be able to help, but Ramichi is just going to get tougher and tougher to kill, and with the possibilities of Taro being able to get free shots off because of that, it could be Zino Lilies' answer. Even though they're starting to fall behind a little bit, they still have some, you know, they got some options in the trunk ready to fire back on.
We'll see how they utilize this 1,000 gold lead, because technically, yeah, it is still Team Falcons MENA who are holding on to it despite the early aggression, and the early stage of the game is really being held down by Zino Lilies. Scaling-wise, Taro's going to scale up really well. Ramichi's going to scale up really well. I don't know about Sa, though, on the low E, right? You do see a bit of a fall-off when it comes to that burst damage. You aren't able to really 100-0 burst people down in the later stage of the game, especially if Velvet, Fevin, and even technically Names now. She already has the Bloodwing, so she'll be able to take a lot of that punishment that she wasn't able to take before. Enhanced Lord spawning in the Land of Dawn 12 minutes in. This is the good thing, I guess, for this composition. With the low E, with the chip, you can always just play in the side lanes because you have that global presence. But still, that control is going to be really tough. And maybe that's why we're seeing a bit of a fall-off when it comes to the low E's and the chips here. Because Lord Dances aren't as effective anymore.
It's true. I mean, and you can't buy as much time as you used to be able to, which means if Lord Dances aren't as effective, controlling the off lane isn't as, I mean, it's still important. Don't get me wrong, macro is peak, but it's not as crucial, right? You can get away with rushing the Lord and not have to worry about the wave for a second. So let's see exactly how they play this out. They are going for the classic lineup of, you know, holding the chip on the long lane, letting him sit by this portal, so at any moment he can come up on this top side or come up on the bottom top side. So Team Falcons MENA going to start it off, Lord down about 40%.
Ramichi flowing blood. Gonna go in. Velvet unable to catch him with a vengeance now. Able to use the final slash. Venus Fury knocking him up as well in the midst of the Lord. Electra finds the retribution blazing up from Taro, but it's not gonna be enough to take anyone down. But it's Ramichi who cleans them up in the team fight. Now moving forward, Yui. No Dominator's descent. That's a shutdown and a triple for Ramichi.
What did I say? Ramichi is gonna become a problem as this game moves forward. Ramichi was able to just blood flow into 4 people and just hang out. No worries at all. Electa does pull off getting the Lord, but they might try to end this here.
They might. That's a cannon minute in the mid lane and another wave. Names popping into Zaman Force. There's another wave coming down, but Zino Lilies, they decide, you know, it might be a bit too much to go for that base. It was so risky. You know, some of these members are coming back up, so they'll decide to go for the purple buff and clear out the Lord. That, unfortunately for them, they weren't able to secure in that neutral objective battle.
And then it's like, oh yeah, we have the divergence, so we can always catch Lord anytime we want. We just jump over to the top lane. And that's where we're seeing the macro work out for Zino Lilies in some of these fights. I think the real thing they're going to be able to do is deal with Electa, because Electa has been amazing at securing these lords right now, has been able to dance around and just pull some amazing things off, even while Ramichi is coming in. Electa did just get that rose gold in, so it's going to be able to help her out even more in terms of sustainability, help her dance around some of these fights a little bit longer than usual. Zino Lilies, I think the only way they're really going to be able to clear this game out, get a full 5-man wipe, or get a lord. So they gotta, I think, take Electa out before a lord comes, and this might be it.
Diversion, Electa gonna be caught! My goodness! An amazing catch with the diversion. The value of the Lo Yi.
Whoops. I said catch Electa off, and boom. Electa's gone, and a little bit more of a fight on the boss side now.
Against Fury, it's a good retaliation. Now to knock up 2, straight into the damage coming in from Names, but it's not going to be enough just yet. Yui, with the Dominator's Descent, just gets melted down. Fevin tries to run away, but the Flowing Blood together with the Yin Yang reaction will catch her. Ramichi's chasing Velvet down. Velvet does have the flicker. Hiromi, crash course, immobility as well. Diversion coming down too. Velvet still able to flicker out to safety, but the Flowing Blood catches her once more. It's a slow death, a painful one. 4-for-0 trade on the board. And Zino, technically, they can't even get any objectives. That was just a brawl.
No, they haven't been able to get any objectives since before the last Lord, and they had to really output a lot of effort for that one, sending 4 members up to the top just to secure that tier 2. It's becoming tougher and tougher for Team Falcons. They had some opportunity, I think, in the early game having this Nolan, but the farther this goes on, the harder it's going to get. Fevin is doing everything Fevin can, landing big Minoan's Furies with 3-4 members, right? But it's just not enough because nobody's really able to, capitalize and output the damage that they need to take out a few members of Zino Lilies.
Oh, you can see the frustration build up as well, though, from Team Falcons Vega. This is one of the concerns that we have, honestly, every single day when these teams have to go back-to-back, especially after a loss, right? How's that going to affect them? Going back-to-back, technically even match number 1, losing 2-0. Seems like it is getting to them, but still, they're playing it really, really well, Team Falcons Vega. They were able to equalize once in this game. They're looking for that again. Flowing Blood. Ramichi doesn't go for it. She has the winner crown, so she technically can go for these big initiations alone.
Yeah, I think Falcons been a big play here. As Electa has to pull off another great Lord take, right? It's the only way they're going to survive this out. Play into the backside, though.
Yui, Dominator's Ascent going into a winner crown, going to be used up. Dominator's Ascent now defensively in the midst of it all. Yui going to be caught in Taro's blazing duet. Shiromi gets the crash course. Names gets caught by the I'm offended, and there's no Purify. Another Flowing Blood and a Retribution from Ramichi to try to catch up to Electa. But Electa does the same thing. She has the same retry. That's a slow one.
Zino Lilies catches him off guard, and Team Falcons Meta once again. Fevin tries to get the Minoan's Fury off, tries to fight back. But Taro, the blazing duet, just too much. Ramichi, the Blood Ode, just too much. The circles are too much.
Zino Lilies, Zino Circles. As of this game, right? 18 minutes in. And now the winner crown too from Taro. So I think that was what she was able to utilize in the team fight, right? She used the Blazing Duet. She knows that her Blazing Duet has been canceled many times before in these team fights. So she decides, hey, winner crown. I can use the Blazing Duet, I can winner crown, and I can still get that damage out. It's the same for Ramichi. It's the winner crown, fools.
It's a winner crown, fool. And there's a couple of them there, right? Ramichi's got that thing, and I mean, Ramichi's going to be able to... Now it's literally almost impossible to kill Ramichi at this point, because what you can do is you win a crown, you have enough time to maybe wait for your blood flow skill to come back, and then you flicker away to safety. And Falcons Meta doesn't really have a way to catch it. They don't have any real big backline dive in terms of that, unless Electa gets a really big flank, but... It's going to be hard. Lord now coming in. Can they finish this here?
Oh. Now I'm offended. Electa, final flash flicker combo from Velvet, trying to save Electa, and she does so. But Velvet's going to be caught, buys immortality. You know, it's Electa who buys immortality. Velvet's going to lose immortality. Now she is able to survive just for a bit. Taro continues with the battle mirror image as well. And we'll be able to find the kill. Winner crown as well to try to bait out some of these abilities. Electa losing immortality. Fevin as well. Now it's going to be Taro trying to go for the kite, but Taro takes her out. Another winner crown. Bot Fevin is low. Pops in the winner crown. Double kill up top for Sa. But game number 1 will be taken by Zino Lilies.
Zino Lilies, once again, we see a team bring something spicy into the jungle. Ramichi on fire, Taro on fire. Team Falcons MENA now truly at match point, at last life. Their best hope is winning the next game and then hoping, depending on how the next series go. That's going to be for us for now. Let's throw it over to our wonderful analyst.
Well, that Alice jungle worked wonders, but watching LaFell throughout that entire game number one, I'm sure you have a lot to say. What's on your mind right now, man? Seems like there's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know where to start, but let's start with the draft here. I feel like Falcons MENA, they have one big weakness. Crowd control, man. Because Ruby is good going up against the Hive, a lot of crowd control, names couldn't do much, right? They got a Minotaur, a pretty good engage, but we saw just in this fight, Minotaur out, all right, good, now we engage in. This is how you approach a team fight going up against a Minotaur. Just use the big ults, and then you go backing, and then you go one at a time. So looking like Falcons MENA here, their timing for the fights is a little bit off. Feven is aggressive, but sometimes unnecessarily so. The same can be said about Electa here, where she was aggressive, but again, the timing wasn't right. To the point where I kind of feel like, instead of picking up the Nolan, a very high mechanical hero, try to make things simple, right? Try to keep your draft simple, something that does well against a lot of crowd control. Again, pick up something like a Bane, where you just have to aim your first kill and then just chunk the enemy down bit by bit, and then if they want to engage, just use your deadly catch or something. Try to keep the draft a little bit simple and try to figure out how to fight against a lot of crowd control.
Yeah, and usually that's the response when you're going up against a lot of teams, a lot of players who like to bring out high concept stuff, where you go back to the basics, you go back to the fundamentals, and lineups that are easier to pull off can respond to an Alice jungle of all pickups, different kinds of varying playstyles. So instead of, we'll take a quick little pause on telling Falcons MENA or suggesting Falcons MENA things that they need to adjust on. Let's look at Zino Lilies this time around. Impressive showing from them in the beginning. The Alice stood out, but you also mentioned to me that you were quite impressed with Dara's entries as the Con.
Yeah, honestly, all of them are pretty solid. There was one fight, I believe it was around the Lord, where I believe Intrex was saying, this is not a good time to go for the Lord. Mirko was saying the Lord dance now is very, very dangerous. But the Winter Crown on the Alice is legit, is very good, because we saw that both teams are fighting for the Lord. The Lord was particularly low, even though at the end of the day, Electa was able to get the Lord. But the fact that they were able to stay in the fight, Winter Crown not absorbing any damage from the Lord. And again, like I said, Falcons MENA, go big or go home. They're gonna, I think it was this point here, when we're looking at the Lord fight here, look at Ramichi, able to survive a lot of damage, goes back in, able to tank quite a lot. Actually, no, didn't even use the Winter Crown, just dodging all of the damage and then still fight. And this is how they win the fight.
Yeah, it was dodging a good amount of the damage and really just spell vamping everything else and getting life from the others, because as the game went on, we saw that the lineup of Falcons MENA didn't have the right response to what Alice brings to the table. So is the Alice the MVP, the PlayStation MVP of that game number one? Another one of our unique picks for MWI 2024, and it is Aramichi 24 on the KDA.
And the build is very defensive. Having the Clock of Destiny afterwards, it's all about defense. Having the Oracle as well as the Queen Wings to make sure that you have a lot of spell vamp, you have a lot of sustain. I still feel like this Alice pick is very niche. It's not something you can force though.
So in a way, it's sort of like, okay, the performance here of this Alice, not taking away Ramichi the player, but looking at the hero itself, sort of deceptive. It's niche because now looking back at it, one of our points earlier was that the lineup of Falcons MENA like to play around their own things. Their Minoan Fury, their Zaman Force, the Nightmaric Spawn of the Zask, they're around an area clumped up. It just so happened to be that Zino Lilies was like, oh, we have a hero that we like to use in the jungle. We have the Alice, and it is still a very niche pick. And I also agree with what Mirko said earlier. Usually when you see this hero with... when you see this hero with you, I don't want to get hit by her wings, you have the Angela paired up with it. So
I don't know. Looking at this game, it looks like it's fine. Able to dance around the team fights, making sure that you're avoiding a lot of damage. And we got to talk about this. Harif, third item, not Holy Crystal. Right? The damage is not going to be there.
yeah, this is something that LFL brought up behind the scenes while we were watching the series, and as we were watching the reactions of the players, is that the Hariths that we've seen so far seem to prioritize the Bloodwings first, and then Holy Crystal. But then you're sacrificing the damage.
I feel like when your composition kind of have a lot of ways to protect the Harif, just go for the Holy Crystal. Your composition needs that damage. It needs that intense power spike to surprise your opponent. So I kind of feel like it's just wasted opportunity. You have a chance, just it's going to be a little bit late because yes, the item is expensive, but it's worth the wait.
As we see the frustration, though, on the members and the worry on the members of Falcons MENA, we see joy, happiness, and let's give a little bit more focus this time on Zino Lilies. We know because we are in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the main characters of our narrative right now, Falcons MENA. But we need to give a little bit more focus as well for the members of Zino Lilies. There's one member there who has been a long-time professional player in the Filipino MLBB women's scene. Her name is Taro, and she was with Eterna.
Hey everyone, we're backstage. My name is Eterna, and with me right now is Taro from Zino Lilies. By the way, Taro, the last time I saw your name, you were with Onyx Zol.
Yeah.
And apparently coming to Zino Lilies, you've only been together for a month. Now, a lot of people are wondering, how has that been? And how do you strengthen your bond in only a month?
First of all, Coach persuaded the Zino management to get me to fly in the Vietnam so we can practice more effectively, even if Ramis is not there because she has school, and we go there. Then in my perspective, I wanna close them so the chemistry is not only inside the game, it's also outside the game. So I like teasing them like imitating them like that. Yeah.
Oh, what about what else do you like to do together? Do you like to watch things together, TV shows maybe?
Sadly, they don't like to watch horror movies. Every time I and Coach ask them to watch horror movie, they always say no. We want Doraemon.
They want Doraemon, so they don't like horror movies.
Yeah, but
it's okay. I love horror movies. We can watch together, right? Maybe after the game, right? Okay. So this is gonna be your third consecutive MWI. You've been here two times before. How does it feel to be on the stage at this magnitude? And what do you think is different, maybe in terms of competition or just the vibe in general?
I think this is the biggest opportunity for the female leagues because it has the biggest prize pool and it has many regions compared to the other MWI before, because there are only 2 teams or 4 teams that go in stage, and the 2022 MWI is only it's only online, full online because of quarantine. But I like playing on the big stage and it makes me excited, and I'm that
Nervous, maybe?
no
Honored?
extra emotion.
Oh, okay. Extra emotions.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very understandable.
Yeah.
Now, Taro, before I let you go for your next match, what do you have to say to your fans? And you can also speak in Tagalog.
Okay. Thank you sa mga nanonood and yung mga sumusuporta sa akin simula pa nung brand days ako. Alam ko nandyan kayo palagi, and kahit saan man ako napunta na team, nanonood pa rin kayo, and sana manalo kami mamaya para sa inyo tong laban na to. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Taro. Salamat, Taro.
Salamat.
And we're gonna send it over to the studio. Pasok.
Thank you, Eterna and Taro. Just to quickly sum up what Taro mentioned, she used to be a member of Brand Victress. She thanked the supporters who's been supporting her for, I think, around 3 years now, a little bit longer. She started playing in the pro scene at around 14 or 15. She's now 18, and no surprise as to why she is emotional. Again, it's so important for the ladies to have this kind of platform.
Totemo daisuki Doraemon. Apparently, they like to watch Doraemon.
Yeah.
I hope I got it right. I could have botched it, but who knows?
Maybe. Is it a calm show?
Is it what?
Is it a calm show? Like, is it just like what kind of anime is it? Is it just vibes?
Do you not know Doraemon?
I know Doraemon. He's like that alien cat thing. That's blue.
With no ears because the ears got eaten by rats.
Okay.
You don't know that?
No.
Oh my goodness.
And they say they don't watch horror movies. All right, sure, but Team Falcons, let's focus on them. Zino Lilies, you're gonna have to tell me about the Raymond one of these days. Team Falcons MENA now have dropped one game against a team behind LaFell, and it's high stakes. And you're still judging me. You're still judging me.
I'm judging you, but you know what? We gotta talk about the game. That's correct. Because again, I kind of feel like at this point, I wouldn't even mind seeing a Diggy. You know, it's like
Diggy, yeah.
All this crowd control is making it difficult for Names to do her job, for Yui to do her job. So it's like, it's risky. But again, at this point, what other options do you have? You need to win this one for a possibility to go for a tiebreaker.
Yeah, it seems to be that Zino Lilies has understood the assignment. And you're right, you mentioned earlier, Falcons Vega, their team fighting, decision making, kind of shaky. So what you do to exploit that is dump out a lot of crowd control heroes. Even though Yui at some point had a really good experience with the Zask, I think now they need a high crowd control mid laner just to dish out a little bit more extra.
Maybe the Alice was the answer to the Zas. Zas not moving anywhere. Neither is Alice. But when we're thinking about the prolonged damage, perhaps the Alice has more damage than the Zas. So the Zas is getting countered. It's very interesting that MWI has a pocket meta here, and it's evolving. It's like, oh, Zas is a problem. We got Alice. Maybe there's more after this because we see the Claude. Honestly, the Claude is a good... Now that I think about it, now that I see more, there's so many counters on the side for Zino Lilies against Falcons. Like Ruby is good against the Harif, the Claude is good against the Zas, the Alice is good against the Zas. Like, yeah, now that I think about it, Falcons MENA just needs a better draft.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, that's so weird to say because we're used to saying that the red side is the countering side in terms of the drafting, but it was Zino Lilies countering from the blue side. That just goes to show how well prepared they are for these drafts here at MWI. Of course, shout out to their head coach and analyst or one of their coaches who's a fellow Filipino as well. Angela is the band here for Zino Lilies, and Jushin, I feel like it's a good start for Falcons MENA in terms of bans. If they can't play it, then take it out because again, the crowd control's been messing them up.
The question is, who do you want to play for, right, for this game?
Yes.
You want to play around Velvet, Electa, Yui, or Names? Because I feel like, again, I am a core believer of keeping it simple. The more you're trying to overthink this whole process, you're going to sabotage yourself. That's all I'm going to say about this.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So for Falcons MENA, let's use that as our framing for this draft. Who will they be playing for? Who will be the focus of their draft? Which hero or which role? Which position? They take away the Ling, so no strong assassin combinations here. Let's see what they're going to be prioritizing. The Harith was given difficulty, popped off eventually, and is now much more attractive for the first pick since the Loyi is gone.
It's so weird for me not to see a chip ban, and perhaps it's going to be open here as well. Right now, Falcons MENA, they are going to be first pick. If the Trizla is open, might as well pick that up. Because the Trizla hasn't been banned so far. Could be banned here though. Chip ban. Trizla, kind of good first pick.
Yep. They have the crowd control, a strong tanky presence.
Yep.
It means one lane is safe. If the others will be put at risk and Trizla will honestly just be okay, you're going to have an anchor. Still have the power picks available, and what a prediction, LaFell. Amazing.
I would say here, the Hayabusa is up if they want to pick that up. If they don't, they can go for a Harif and maybe even a Valentina.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
All right, so if this team don't overthink for Zino, let's overthink everything.
No. I think when you see the Selena, it's like, oh, wait, it forces you to overthink.
Yeah.
Out of every... Selena could be 4th or 5th pick.
Yeah.
I never thought it'd be first pick.
And I'm not turning off the idea that this could be one of those. Okay, I was just about to say Selena roams, but okay, it's Minotaur roams, Selena.
Mid or jungle?
Selena jungle? Has it been popping up in scrims?
No.
But
You said I've been here for too long. I've seen Selena jungle before.
Okay.
It's not the best, but she used an Alice jungle. Can you really like say that there's no way the Selena is going to the mid? Going jungle, I mean.
Yeah, you get that point. I can't completely shut off the idea with everything that we've seen so far in this tournament. So I feel like this was purely reactionary with picking up the Novaria, just so that you can get equalize the vision.
I wonder if they still want to hire, because again, the lane, the Holy Crystal, I don't know. Matilda, though. Okay, this is very interesting. They should have a very strong mid trio prio. Now that they have this, they just need a very damagey jungler that can do the job very well in the early game.
Yep.
Claw gets picked up here.
Okay. So they'll be playing more around the map. Map presence could be killer here for Zino Zenith with the Claude and the Selena if they hit their marks. Going back to what you mentioned earlier, Lafel, where who are you playing for as the big question for Falcons MENA. Having the Matilda Novaria paired up with Terizla feels like the question has been partially answered because these first three picks are clearly playing for the Terizla and the EXP lane.
Yeah, I feel like going for that angle is pretty good, but honestly the meta is around the jungler. I hope that Electa is able to have her best hero. Whether it's the draft or not, doesn't matter. If that's what you're most confident with, just use it. Because again, having the Matilda means that you have a faster rotation in the mid.
Yep.
Use that to your advantage. Now in terms of the bans here, because of the Selena pick, it's going to be a little bit iffy about what to ban, but it looks like they're thinking the Selena is going to the mid, which again, higher chance of the Selena going to mid, banning out the junglers is a good idea. Banning out the Hayabusa here.
Yeah, but we can't turn off the idea of that.
Not gonna lie,
jungle.
I don't mind if Falcons MENA, they even pick up a Boxia and then just have a very strong gold laner, but again, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's something that Zino Zenith was floating the idea of, which is why they took out the Claude. Because if you go back to that thinking, a little bit more 6 months ago meta, but I feel like could still work depending on the circumstances. If those three on the side of Falcons MENA were paired up with a Baksha and it had the Claude, it's a good well-rounded lineup. So maybe Zino Zenith was looking into that. In terms of the gold lanes for MENA, if they want a strong gold laner, I mean, the carry's still there.
Harif is still open, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yes, you're right. I'm so not used to seeing Harith not being picked up all the way up until the second phase.
Not saying it's a good pick, just saying it's a pick.
It's a pick. It's there.
But yeah, I feel like the carry is solid, honestly. Carry is a pretty good pick.
Considering that you have those three already with you, the carry should be very happy. And as expected, there'll be a Julian for Zino Zenith. That's the trend right now. If your magic damage seems to be lacking, you pick up Julian for the jungle.
I feel like I'm starting to become you. I'm really wanting a Bane here.
Bane? Ever since you mentioned it, I agree with you, man.
Pick up the Benedetta, why not?
Even a Bane, Bane. I would not mind Bane for MENA. They already have the Novaria. So that's a huge area for the Sharks. The hitbox will get bigger, even bigger.
Again, I feel like even the Boxia is going to be okay here, having a fast tempo as well as being able to have basically the life bin effect. Yeah. Without having the items, you can deal with the Minotaur and the passive is going to be good. Oh!
Okay.
Okay, not a Boxia, but a Fredrin.
Okay.
I'm on the right track here. But the Natan here, the Natan needs time. Yeah. So this draft, honestly, is playing around names. I hope she goes for a third eye, the Holy Crystal.
Yeah, gotta rush that damage. Hopefully she doesn't overthink the idea that Zino Zenith has a lot of threats for that Nathan in the early game. Because you can't delay your late game. You need to rush the process if you're Falcons MENA. Last pick?
Yuzong is still open.
Oh, that would mess up the Nathan.
The Nathan, the Novaria. Honestly, it messes up a lot.
Yeah.
If not, you can pick up an X-Borg. It's like a easier thing to handle the Fredrin as well as the Terizla.
X-Borg into a Fredrin, you're right. Fredrin don't do not like that, but yeah, it's best possible. Ooh, a little bit of a throwback for Falcons MENA to 5 to 7 months ago in our meta. Zino Zenith showing what it means to play MLBB now in this current stage. So it's a battle of styles and a battle of 2 goals. On the right side for Zino Zenith, just secure the 2-0. For Falcons MENA, make sure that you do not get eliminated here. It's a best of 2. It's match, nay, tournament point for the hometown heroes. Zino Lilies will still have a match later on. That's it for me and LaFell. Because now as we enter this game number 2, we'll pass you on over to our 2 casters who has been with us ever since Series 1. It's Mirko and Trex. You two, just put on a show.
Thank you so much, Renmar and LaFell. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to be jumping into the possible last game. This is match point, essentially, for Falcons MENA here. They got to step it up if they want to get out of groups here. Zino Lilies, once again, bring something spicy to the table. This is 4 games in a row. I think we've seen a new pick pop up for MWI here. Selena in the mid lane. It's been a long time since I've seen Selena in the land of Dawn, and I'm excited to see how Zino Lilies is going to make it work for them.
Yeah, same, because usually Selena, when you pick it up, the best combination in the roam position should be a Grok, right? Someone that can actually clear the lane really, really fast. If it's not the Grok, usually it's the Cho. So the fact that they went for the Minotaur, I get it. It's also still okay clear. You got the concussive blast song. Gonna go in for some damage. Good chain 2 to immobilize Bevan, forcing her back. Abyssal Trap also connecting, deal a little bit of damage to Electa there. Great lethal Wanderer take. But what do you think about this, Trex? Now that Team Falcons MENA, they're fighting for, this is tournament point, like Reptar said, Renmar said earlier. Electa back on the Fredrin. This is the old style of MLBB. Velvet gonna be caught in the enhanced chain. Well, not the enhanced chain, just the chain. Doesn't seem like she will use the enhanced version of the skill. Not just yet. She will just back away. She does damage to Velvet.
Not only the Fredrin, right? Not only like on the Fred, which we also have the Matilda paired up with it. This is definitely something we saw, you know, back in M5, you know, back in, and it could be comfort for them. It could be something that works, and in a time like this, it is something you can fall back on when all the other teams are getting crazy with their compositions. This could be the answer here. They did secure some late game possibilities as well, right? They have some decent early game aggression with Velvet in the XP lane when it comes to some of these first turtles having the Terizla. They have good movement as long as they use the Matilda correctly to rotate around the map. And since Zino Lilies is weak on their mid lane clear, this could give Falcons MENA a little bit of space to buy time, right? So if they can buy that time, make sure Names gets online, make sure Zui gets online, there's a lot of possibilities for them.
Black Dragon farm used up very early, a bit too early it seems. You know, that's a big resource for the first neutral objective. Velvet's going to have a massive advantage now coming into the next turtle. And again, like you mentioned, Team Falcons already have an advantage when it comes to the mid clear. So they're not using it actually. It's Sao who's clearing out the mid lane. They're actually going to lose out a whole way penalty zone with the Astral Echo into the back line, getting a few hammer swings down. Shiromi walking forward, Minis Fury knocking one up there. That's going to be the combo coming down as the guiding win, or the Circling Eagle rather, comes down as well. But Electa is still able to secure the neutral objective. Sa dives in deep right there as the chain connects. So Electa almost getting the Appraiser's Wrath down, but gets taken out before she can get it down. Amici lethal on the Julian.
If there's anything I've noticed about these two teams, Zino Lilies almost always comes out on top in terms of kills, but Electa is so good at always securing that neutral objective. Taking a look at this replay, Electa able to get it, able to almost turn things around here, unable to make it to Shiromi and get that final hit. If Electa could have just got that, it could have at least evened the playing field, maybe even put them in the advantage in that big trade since they secured Turtle as well. But they fall back, and we can see the reactions from MENA. Electa, man, rubbing her eyes there, just frustrated with how things are going. And I feel it. It's got to be tough when you're in this kind of situation. You're on your last life right here. There's no comebacks. There's no immortalities for tournament point here. They got to figure something out. And like I said, they're able to get these objectives. They just need to translate that into something else or be a bit more careful in how they approach it.
This is the problem, though, I would say. If we're talking about Zino Lilies, the fact that they've been able to find a lot of wins. Good Petra Furious dive into Ramichi with the chain and the enhanced scythe. Even with the body of Smith, the passive doesn't do anything. Not to the burst of Julian. Yikes.
Ramichi's just going to be a monster once again. It's 2-0-1 already for Julian this early in the game. Yui's now rotating up top. Gets the vision on him, but it's not going to save the tower at all. And Zen, now that they found a moment, you can already see them now rotating around. Taro's hitting the cross lane farm, trying to redo what we saw from Rihanna in earlier series. Maybe get that third item in at around 9 minutes.
Maybe she can do that there. I mean, to be fair, Name's already forced back. Taro's doing a whole lot of damage. And by the way, all right, let me ask you a question here, Trex. Natan versus Claude, who wins in that matchup?
I think there's nice wave clear from Names. There's nice poke from Names. The good thing about Claude, though, is... Ooh.
Good take there. Now Minus Fury knocking 2 members up. Shiromi unable to find Velvet just there. She is able to flick her out to safety, but not too long. Ramichi able to find the kill spree. And Brazer's Wrath deals some damage. Also the Astral Sphere connecting to the back line, but Kao is able to just walk away. Sa executes Electa in the front. Oh man, again, Zino Lilies. This time they don't just win in the fight. They win in the neutral objective. Ramichi with a flank, trying to go for the enhanced chain, unable to connect it. Good guiding win from Fevin to get out, but Sa, look at her, just scratching the turret down. Now with Ramichi too. That is tier 1 mid lane taking down Names in the bottom lane, trying to go for a trade. But Taro walks up, deals that damage, chasing her down. Still, Names will use the entropy.
Yeah, Names definitely is going to have the ability to deal with Tara, right? And even has decent wave clear, as we were just talking about. The good thing about a Claude, though, is just about anybody, as long as you're mechanically gifted on the Claude, you can at least stalemate. And if your team is helping you out even more, you can get to the other side of the map. And that's the thing. It's not exactly just about the gold lane versus gold lane. It's about Zino Lilies constantly putting pressure on these off lanes, right? And making sure that KO does good. Wait a second, a little bit of damage on Ramichi.
Names as well there with the guiding win. Ramichi gonna be taken down, unable to find anything but the
Oh,
trap. No arrow connects Names. One last chomp of the trap will take her down. Sa picks up a double. Was that Fevin that flew over as well? And she got taken out. Now Velvet in the bush, trying to stop Zino Lilies from going for the purple buff. And this is why we get to see the Selena. Sa's been brutal with it, connecting every single arrow, and that's another. Straight into the damage. Velvet gonna be chunked low. That's a frontliner. And she got taken that low from the damage of Sa.
Zino Lilies right now 3 steps ahead at all times.
Ooh.
Team Falcons Mena might be able to take a Knight or take a Rook, but Zino Lilies takes 3 more pieces in return and consistently takes the lead. And now, another gank.
There you go. She finally gets punished for it. Tries to run away. The shutdown, though. The bounty is on Fevin. Out of all the members that could have taken it, Electa was there, Names was there. It would have been great if it was Names, but they lose out the purple buff. And I'll have to say, that ends up being not worth it, even with the shutdown.
Hey man, Roams need gold too. Roams need love too. Definitely might not be the best decision, but you know, Fevin got a little greedy, man. Wanted the kill, and I think at this point, Falcons Menace want the kill, right? They need to try to even the playing field. Taro in trouble.
Able to get out just to safety. Shiromi, great disengage. Now Ramichi in that chain to knock Names up. Oh, the spear not connecting Electa. Moving forward. Ramichi, she could go for the 1v3, but she might not even need to because a dragon is coming her way as well to try to help her out. Yui, you can go out of the map, but so can Cal. Immobilization with the chain. Electra trying to run away.
Whoa.
Penalty zone from Velvet. Catching 3. That's a furious dive. Not with the Petrify just yet as Ramichi is going to be comboning Hazard. Brings her back all the way to the back, and that is a double with the help of Sa's Abyssal Arrow. That is ever so accurate. My goodness, the synergy.
The synergy is definitely beautiful from Zino Lilies. I mean, just all over. And while that's happening, you got Taro on other sides of the map, putting pressure on the mid and the top. So even when 4 of them are making something happen, it's problems elsewhere. Golden Staff just locked in for Taro here. Team Falcons Mena getting more and more pushed into the corner. The Abyssal Arrows are constantly firing off, so it's using as a zoning mechanism for Team Falcons Mena onto the items. 3 items in 8.5 minutes, Mirko. Is that the new record?
I think it is. And I think for Shiromi, she is going to be taken down. No, she flickers out, and Ramichi is there to body block the spear. Wow. even in disengages, Zino Lilies are so clean with it. And like you mentioned, that's a new record. You were already hyping it up. You know, Taro's taking waves, Sa's taking names though, but not names as in the player, names as in Velvet the name, who's going to be stunned up again. 2 Abyssal Arrows connecting there, but she is able to escape. I guess that's the value you get with the Terizla, even though she's 0-4-0. She's still super tanky, still super hard to actually go and assassinate. But man, oh, she hits an Abyssal Arrow again, by the way. Just names.
Consistently doing it. Taking a look at some of the items, Lord just gets taken. It's now almost a 10K gold lead. We're at 9,000 gold pretty much for the side of Zino Lilies up right now. And I just want to put it into perspective as well. Some of their positioning has been phenomenal in this game. Even earlier when that gank was happening up top, when that attack onto Velvet was happening, we have Kyle just hanging out in the bush by Lord, ready to set up the position on the Lord pit. Even though they had this huge lead, we still play by the basics. We still know exactly where we need to be at the right time, and we don't go too far from that. So Zino Lilies is just showing prowess in many different aspects of this game right now. They're going to be trying to possibly end this here, take an inhibitor to do something big against Team Falcons MENA.
Let's see if they can. They technically still have the Natan, right? With the Black Dragon form, it's going to be used up to try to zone them in the back line. Electro walking forward, getting the taunt down, but gets caught by the Abyssal Arrow. Penalty zone onto 2. Tara going to be caught right now. Unable to go out. Pops in a battle mirror image. Behind as she does damage. Sa again just diving deep with Cal. And they were able to find Natan with namesake. And now who's there to clear out the wave? It has Sora AT with a mega kill and a dive again from Sa. She picks up a double and another Abyssal Arrow straight into the chain. And Sa is an absolute monster on the Selena.
That's a 5-man wipe up, followed up by the 2-0 win for Zino Lilies. Showing dominance with multiple different heroes, showing dominance with multiple different styles of play. Sadly, do you know what this means though, Mirko?
I know what it means, man. That Abyssal Arrow will just shoot them down.
Not exactly where I was